Hey guys, welcome back to the Mado Videos podcast. I know it's been a long time since we did the last episode, but yeah, we are finally back uh, after a small gap. Uh, and we have a very interesting guest today on the podcast. We're joined by Girish from Quess Corp. So, without much ado, I'd like to add Girish to the podcast and we can start. So, Girish, thank you so much for taking time out and joining us on Mado Videos podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on the podcast, Pranav. Happy to join in, and very good evening to you all. Uh, Glad to look at a lot of insightful discussion that we can have. Looking forward.
Right. So I think I was just going through your background. If I open your LinkedIn profile and I just scroll down to the experience section, the number of brands that are associated with or you've been associated with rather uh, one are that a fantastic list, right? An illustrious career with all these brands, and you've seen everything from sales to marketing, right? So it's very interesting that you spent quite an large amount of time to uh, have seen times before the digitization era, uh, before mobile was the primary source of information. Um, you're talking about television and radio to today, then like looking at computer screens and today being mobile first. You've seen that all. But I'd like you to tell us a little bit about how you've started your career. And I think the first uh, I think gig was with Britannia, I think way back, and then
Yeah,
today you're with Scop. How has that transition been, and what is that journey been like?
great. Just to start with, on a lighter note, you just made me to realize my age, Flintstones to the digital era. Thanks for that. But yes, it's been an amazing journey, Pranav. Just have to quickly go back where I started. We were into basically, I came from a family business. My father was into FMCG distribution companies like Colgate and Britannia and Nestle's and those worlds. And so the DNA of FMCG and the advertisements and the branding was always in the family. And I chose to move out from the family business and start my corporate career as joining as a management trainee in the Rickless confectionery. And then later, the stories unfolded. I've been worked with ITC, and then later on with Henkel Jyoti Laboratories. And the last assignment was before Quess Corp with 3M in Karlon. It's been an amazing journey. I think it's a very nice question that you asked. From the uh, 2 decades ago where we started, I think the only medium for communication was the print and the TVC. And I'm sure we all go back and see for a 40 second or a 10 second TVC spot, what the kind of money that we used to spend. And
Exactly.
unless we reach to masses of distribution of number of outlets and number of distributors or the chain of network that we appoint, and there's no advertisement till then. But I think
Right.
thankfully today's scenario has changed. We no longer make a product or a service. We actually create a story or an experience for a customer. I think that starts with basic necessity of what do we want to tell the customer. And thank God we don't have to wait for the agencies to give us the video or a new TVC after 6 months of the brand launch. But today it actually starts from the birth. So that's the
Right.
change that I would say. And
Yeah.
medium has changed. Those days it was sticking to those prime time of the TVCs where people used to watch the advertisements, and there was huge impression number of the cost that one brand has to pay, and the left of the regional brands or the smaller ones never had a appetite to afford. But today, if you look at the change of medium, and really glad and thankful for Guch and the MOV, the job that you guys are doing, making life little simpler for the marketeers to understand. I think we have come a long way. Today, digital medium being one of the forefront, I think we have been able to tell a lot more stories better than what we were. And coming back to my journey, selling toiletry soaps to confectionaries to biscuits, and right now heading the category and the marketing piece of strategy I think one thing that I would say is, we've been graduated from sales to strategy to category to communication piece. I would say one thing that today we no longer make stuff, but we tell stories. And the one medium that entertains today to people, whether good or bad, today is watch a video rather read a page of brochure or a text on an email or a website. I hardly
Right.
see that people even going back to website and read something. The first thing is, okay, refer, okay, where are you on YouTube? I want to see, and then I try and
Right.
purchase what we talk about. Look at Amazon reviews, Amazon videos. Everybody's talking about the rich content, etc. So I think that's the testament to change from the last 1 decade. Yeah.
Right. So that brings me to my first question. Why are you in particular mad over videos?
Well, so as a person, I believe in communication, and I have a personal interest of looking into many brands who've been bringing those nice perfectionism and kind of humor into or emotions into the video. And today I've seen one thing that lot many bigger brands have struggled to still do that. It's all about the big budgets. It's all about what they do. But I think if you ask me personally, from the data point today, 64% of the people who before purchase they make a decision by watching a video or reading some good content. It can be animated, it can be GIFs, it can be a communication on digital medium, right? And personally, my choice is I do a lot of research when I buy, and I do connect with the brands who tell a story. And we're all storytellers. And I don't believe in selling, but I believe in telling a story, and then you're
Yeah.
hooked on to the customer for life. That's what my interest is, and I'm on mad over video. And if you look at simple examples like Ixigo is one of the brand I always very fond of, and this became a big talk of the town in 2018 and 2019, where people, a few family members went and they kind of wanted to take whatever is there and available in the hotel, but nobody knows what exactly can take away and can be carried away and what should be kept in the hotel. So there's amazing
Right.
videos, the girl, the low budget video, no celebrity, but just giving a simple message to people talking about, this is what it is. And that had lakhs of views together. That's why I'm on mad over video.
Right. I think it takes me back to 2019 when Madhuva Videos was an offline conference, and you were in the room as one of
Yes.
the attendees.
Yeah.
And the video that you're talking about was made by one of the keynote speakers of the conference,
True.
Ashish.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, so I have the video handy for us to play before we can move on for people to understand what we were just talking about.
Oh, lovely. Thanks for that. I think you can just put it up. People can see that, and it's an amazing humor video.
Right, here
Yeah.
goes. Yeah, so I think I had to cut it short. It's a 2 minute long video, but I think watching this video, the first thing that comes to my mind, the concept, the story, the content is relatable, right? It is taken from our daily lives. All of us go and stay in hotels, and
Yeah.
we've all, I think, been in such situations, and it was also timed with that incident where an Indian family was in the news for getting caught for taking
Yeah.
unwarranted stuff out of the hotel. So my question to you, Girish, here is there are I think there are two ways to look at stories that brands tell, right? And I'm talking about uh, one is this kind where it's very relatable. It's picked from your uh, own experience or something that you've seen happen to someone, versus the other school of thought where uh, the brand is projected or the product is projected like it is larger than life, right? It is put on a pedestal. um, and we could talk about examples and things like that. And we've seen brands pick either of these routes and do well in their own ways. But what do you think is the right way of looking at it? What do you uh, like? What do you prefer when it comes to your messaging?
I think basically it starts, it stems from the thought of what do brands want to tell finally. They just want to go about functionality of the product and just keep ticking the tick box that I am superior over another, or you just want to kind of look at the space that is available. It boils down to one thing that we all forget many times is an IDA principle. uh, am I ready? Am I a product or a service that I'm ready to pass the stage of an IDA principle: awareness, interest, desire, and action? So where are we trying to create today? Many brands straight away jump into an action, but they were nowhere led to create an awareness and interest. So today, going back to Exigo, the video that you played today, they create an awareness as an example. If you look at it, the brand was immediately roped into many minds. People start going back to the website and the app. Offline I chatted with the Ashish when I was in the room the other day. Lovely stuff that they've done. So the many marketers do tend to forget on what exactly is an IDA principle and where are we standing today, and whether I should create a desire, whether I should create an awareness, whether I want to jump into an action. Of course, jumping into an action is all about the pricing. Okay, today the TV for 50 to 55 inches TV screen between LG and Samsung. I just need to blow the price and just tell that I'm here, pick me up right away. But there's no storytelling there, right? I mean, you don't have to. The brands are different, the category is different, your selling platform is different. But I think what boils down to me to any marketer is what is the story and where am I today in this journey and what do I need to communicate to the customer. If I go back to one of the very old videos, it's in 20-30 seconds. It's all about a blender and where the iPhone 4S was kind of put into the blender. And the story is about taking the cue from the Steve Jobs and the Apple, which made a big wig in those era. And then you're putting it in a blender and you're just kind of crushing it down. Amazing video. I mean, amazing storytelling. And what did it create finally? It created that kind of a humor and that immediate attention. Oh, what is it they're doing? Is it an iPhone ad or is it a blender? People for a minute would definitely get confused what exactly ad is all about. So again, this is the basic principle. It stems from where the journey and what is the objective of the brand.
Sure. I'd like to play the Blender ad that you spoke about
Oh,
before we
that's
move
one
on.
of my favorites always.
Absolutely. I think that it's a series of videos where they it is called Will It Blend, and
Yeah,
uh, they experimented with various objects, and one of them was the iPhone. And
yeah,
iPhone being a phone which is certainly uh, a little expensive over the other smartphones,
yeah,
it gets your attention that why the hell are they putting this into a blender? So
yeah.
it worked brilliantly. So I'll just play the video before we move on.
Sure.
Will it blend? That is the question. Hey, I want to introduce you to our new Will It Blend app. And it's free. It's really cool. You can do a try this at home or a don't try this at home. My favorite is hang with Tom. Pick your favorite picture. Pick which one of me you want to be with. You can size it. Boy, that'll make a great Christmas card. I love the new iPhone 4S Siri technology so much that I built it into the BlendTech Total Blender. Watch this. Total Blender, blend my new iPhone.
Blending iPhone.
Would you like to not blend the iPhone instead?
Activating the smoothie button.
You are making a terrible error.
Blend it now.
Please try Apple.
Okay, I couldn't see the horror, so I had to stop the.
It's an amazing one. If I wish I was in that era, I would never blend it. iPhones were costly, even now.
I
Great.
totally agree. And the beauty of how they picked on trends, right? I mean, if you saw a product that is famous, and it could be a food item, it could be a non-edible item, whatever, and this product, you like today, if you're looking at say an ad for a blender or a mixer, and you'll have maybe a feminine actress, or an actress from the old era, just pointing at the product and just saying that this is the best product out there. But uh, this approach is so unique, right? I mean, like
Everybody did
you
it. Yeah.
yeah, you're not even demonstrating uh, blending like a fruit or anything which is supposed to be blend into the blender. But this is something very interesting, and I think this entire series uh, was followed by so many people that it generated, it is not even an ad. It is what we could call as content marketing, right? We could
Yeah.
come up with such
True.
interesting content, and people want to see what are they coming up with next. That is a big win for the market.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you rightly mentioned, rightly said it. The content is something, today we just look at on which platform, how many minutes video, and how many, what kind of stuff that we need to use. More than that, I think the many brands have succeeded by doing this, the right content, right genre, right platform, and how well we communicate within that limited amount of time. The span of attention is limited, and how do we well do it? And these are the brands who have done it very neat.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
And talking about the point of generating that curiosity, uh, we've seen a lot of brands do series of ads, and not just on digital, also on TV. We've seen people where this ad will be continued in the next one, and you sort of follow the
Yeah.
storyline to understand what's going to happen next. And the recall value is far beyond measure in such videos.
True.
Is there something that comes to your mind when it comes to a brand that has successfully done something?
I think there are plenty, but an immediate top of mind recall would be Magic Bricks. Recently, the Ayushman Khurrana and then Kriti Sanan. They
Yeah,
have from where they started off hunting for a house and then moving into it, and then again still it continues where Ayushman Khurrana talks about blending something again at the kitchen or baking something at the kitchen, and then he sells. It's easy to do as much as this. So I think. What comes to my mind is there again there is storytelling, and some brands have done that content piece very clearly. They're not doing it for today, but they're actually trying the brand to evolve over a period of time, right?
correct.
Look at Pidilite example. you know uh, Look at any Pidilite story today. The way I think one of the brands I really uh, kind of envy the way they've been doing is any brand for that, going back to 20 years ago or 2 decades, the ad was so fresh for that kind of thoughts. Even if you look at them, it still makes a lot of sense. And but
Correct.
then able to adapt to every technology. When Fevicol ka jod hai jo mazboot, and the recent one was the sofa where it's been passed on to the daughter when she gets married, and it goes to many multiple families. And
Correct.
finally, the sofa again comes back, and somebody repairs it, and it's still there after some 30 years. So
Yeah,
the storytelling, you've just asked the right question. Talking about any brand that is you see that's continuous storytelling. I think Pidilite and Magic Bricks is one of them that would always say amazing
absolutely,
uh, uh,
absolutely.
content.
I think Fevicol has used uh, the insight of the bond, right?
Yeah.
And the adhesive bond being compared to bonds of different types, whether it's an emotional bond with your family or it could
Yeah.
be anything. I think the way they've cracked that insight and have stuck throughout. So that's something which is unique and amazing, that you can like spot that messaging in a crowd of different brands. You'll still be able to identify this is cool, right? And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
something that, uh,
Very
yeah,
true.
it's amazing, right?
And they've been doing it for ages now. I
Correct,
think
correct,
every campaign is still young, fresh, connected to the right audience, and it makes basically it's a B2B product if you actually look at, right?
correct,
I mean,
correct,
apart from the stationery where all our kids at home or we end up using, uh,
right,
very rare. But actually, if you
right,
look at, it's a B2B product.
right,
Uh, who else can be the best by telling a story from them? Wherein
right.
imagine ads wherein the eggs are kept in a basket, and and then the carpenters are working on that.
Correct,
Amazing,
correct.
amazing it
Yeah,
is. It's so fresh.
I think the point that you brought out, it hit me hard that Fevicol is a B2B product. We
Yeah,
never realized, right? Like as kids, like maybe for our school projects, we might have bought small packs of Fevicol, but consuming Fevicol is not a B2C trend, right?
true.
It's meant for offices, it's meant for, I don't know, carpentry and all sorts of different
Huge,
businesses.
huge.
And a B2B a brand like that or a product like that being sold in such an interesting manner uh, on television, which is
Yeah,
again not many brands who are in the B2B space are known to do something like that,
true,
is
true.
very unique. And I think one of my favorite ads that they did was uh, the fisherman who comes and he puts like 4 or 5 drops of Fevistick
Yeah,
onto
it's
that. That's something which is so
an
unique.
amazing one.
Correct.
Yeah,
And the recent most ad that you just mentioned, I have that video. Again, I like this ad for a very specific reason, where there's this nice jingle that they've composed,
true.
and even after the video gets over, if the ad stops playing, the jingle stays with you. The sofa ad. I'd like to play that for everybody, and
Yeah,
then we can.
sure.
ও কোথায় যাবি কোথায় যাবি রে বাউলের হে ভব সংসার ছাড়িয়া ছাড়িয়া রে হে ভব সংসার ছাড়িয়া বলি গুরুর কৃপা না হইলে সুখ নাই এই দুনিয়ায় রে বাউলের হে ভব সংসার ছাড়িয়া কোথায় যাবি
फेविकॉल मरीन वही मजबूत जोड़ पानी में भी।
Yeah, I think there was this tiny goof up. I wanted to play a different one, but we happened to play this one. Again, this was a unique ad as
This
well,
is the
where
marine,
yeah,
adhesive. I think just going back to wherein if you have to go back to our college days or school days in terms of using any stationary adhesive or those days tapes were not even in the trend. Now, of
right,
course, themselves masking tapes and amazing products that they do. But if you go
right,
back, the simple glue was available, not even a branded one. But now, after those decades of experience, decades of selling it to carpenters, they own more than in excess of 70% market share. Probably, I don't know the recent number, but the in the last 10 years, they've started putting the B2C products in the shelf. which related to the stationery, the daily office usage, even for the
Yeah.
kids at school. Slowly, I think you look at the brand strength. I won't be surprised Fevicol launching. Just on a lighter note, even a Camlin-sized box, giving all the freebies inside. Those composers that you used to sell. It's an
Correct.
amazing story wherein they've been sticking to that kind of uniqueness. Three things that I would always recollect in this particular
Yeah.
marketing piece that I see in the Pidilite Fevicol as a brand. One is the genre that they attend is connected to daily life. It's a carpentry. It's a fisherman. It's a regular guy who's just doing some regular work on the fixing and repairs. It's a
Correct.
daily life, and then there's no brand ambassador. I'm not against to using a brand ambassador or celebrities, but I would rather say that this uniquely done, and
Correct.
then telling that story and then content and a jingle, right?
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
about that connection. As you said, it still lingers. Even if you stop the ad, it still goes on for some time, right?
True.
These are a few anecdotes that we can pick up from this one of the great
Right.
brands.
Right. I think the unique emotion that comes out of all these is nostalgia. It always takes us back to the days when uh, we would see these ads on television, etc. Uh,
Yeah,
and you also mentioned that these did not use any brand ambassador or famous personality face to sell the product, but there are few brands who sort of uh, I mean, sell because of the brand ambassador faces, right? And
yeah,
like you'd see, like I think you can tell me some things from your experience that you've worked with the products where you've used the biggest of the celebrities as the face of the brand to sell a product. And uh, primarily, uh, although there is not a lot of storytelling needed, because the personality or say for example the roles that these celebrities play in their movies are enough to sort of sell the product by itself. So, do you have
yeah,
any anecdotes to share on those brands?
yeah. So I'm sure. So this is the simplest, mathematics, I would say, for the big brands. Why they choose that route, while many other brands at the smaller level or regional level cannot afford that.
Yeah,
Uh, the game is simple. It's the velocity of distribution. Today, if you talk about any big brands in the beverage category of a Coke and Pepsi, probably in Bangalore alone, city, they would be covering close to about some 78, 80,000 stores on a daily basis, where the products are sold on a daily basis, right?
right,
Now, using one of the power brands, a celebrity brand, launching a new product and putting it on a air, for 3 or 4 days spots or maybe a 15-day spots as a follow-up. Imagine the kind of recall that it has, and number of people visiting those stores picking those products, right? It's a distribution. It's massive distribution, right?
correct,
While vis-a-vis, if you compare a regional brand, which is not so in-depthly marketed, they're still in the steps of initial stages, and there the velocity of distribution is very minimal. If you have about some handful of stores or some more than 5,000, 10,000 stores, or maybe you're only in selected network, where will you advertise? That's where if you go back those days, in our glory of sales, that initial days that we have done, uh, we will always ask the question, okay, an advertisement, TVC needs to be launched in the Calicut market or Hyderabad market. Okay, number of stores, what do we have today, and where do we have connected, and how many stores we have connected? Before the ad is released, we need to have an X number of percentage to be covered, the universe to be covered. So today, if you look at Bangalore, I think would be having more than 60, 70,000 outlets as per EC Nielsen data. But I think many of the large brands would cover those outlets in a month's time, in just a month's time. For a
right,
regional brand who are still picking those success would probably take ages together to do that. So it's the right mix. So I have the money, I have the strength, I have the distribution. So I will rather invest and take a bet of taking the celebrity route and just
yeah,
kind of do the firepower in the market and launch the product. And
right,
then and today, thankfully, the regional brands also have an answer where they have different platforms to reach on YouTube or
yeah,
any digital
yeah,
medium. I think there also is a channel for that. Yeah. That's
correct.
that's my understanding to it.
My question here uh, is it like a shortcut or a lazy way to look at creating that uh, impression? Um, I mean, I might have contrary opinions here, but then we've seen so many examples of uh, messaging where you do not need a famous face to really go and make a strong impact, right? Whereas uh, it's a lot of them. I think I like to say brands which haven't really innovated in the kind of storytelling that they've been doing over the years. A bunch of those happen to use celebrities. I'm not saying it is causation; it's just correlation. But yeah, this is. I want to know what you think about it.
Well said. It's a causation. It's not a correlation. I do agree with that. But yes, it's a mixed bag, Pranav. And if you look at it's like a two faces of the coin. Uh, Look at one of the great brands who have lived in this multiple decades, Ujala, for example, right?
Yeah,
The moment you mention Ujala, I think even any remote corner of India, people will say Char Bundo Wala, right?
right.
Yeah. So the connect, I was had an opportunity to work with uh, the chairman and the management team of Jyoti Labs in my previous years, and what I could understand, what I could learn from them is the brand was done with certain percentage of seeing thing that okay, usage is important. Now, if you're able to understand the genre of the product usage and people who are using it, what is the communication that I'm trying to do? I mean, going back to what you said, there is no celebrity in this ad.
Yeah,
What killed the ad in terms of to epitome of success and make the product shine bright like the product itself
yeah,
was the jingle and the content, right?
correct,
The usage, the communication was so crisp that just char boon kafi hai. It's like this is what is required for you have the whitest cloths. Of course, now usage of white has gone from what it was to now it's completely changed. Those days it
right.
used to be like Insta shine. Oh, look at the same brand story wherein probably uh, look at an example of Britannia. They've been doing great work, right? From where it started, eat healthy, think better was a jingle, ting, 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 right?
Mm,
And now
mm,
today they've gone beyond that and they've been able to sell the dairy foods and the kind of product.
yeah,
They're also we didn't use much of celebrities, right? And it's all about the product story. Now
correct.
when the brand itself, taking example from my previous assignment when I worked with Kurlon founders, Kurlon is very synonymous to a mattress today. Anybody say mattress, it's like Kurlon mattress, right? Now if I want to
Right,
hire a celebrity to brand the product and sell it, it doesn't work. It doesn't
right,
work at all because the brand it's already has more than 85-90% of the recall. And why would I
correct.
need an XYZ celebrity to come into the brand and start selling it? So it's super side, right? But at the same point of time, look at some examples of Nawazuddin Sheikh. He's also one of the great celebrity today, the cult following. The
Yeah,
HDFC Argo has recently done a campaign with them,
yeah,
and they've done an awesome job. Whatever you need to do, ensure that you work with HDFC. Let's go back to the
mm,
recent campaign of it kicked off yesterday with Rahul Dravid. How many of us know Creed as a brand, which gives the credit points or the redemption points? Can anybody imagine Rahul Dravid getting angry? They picked up the content so well, and you look at the ad. I am sure if you have a link, probably you can
yeah.
play it for the audience.
I
It's
I do.
amazing.
I do.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
answer is only that, Pranav. It's about the story. It's about what we need to do and what the brand stands for. Right?
true. So I mean, this is an example where you're actually sort of using an anti-personality to what is actually known of that celebrity to uh, like
Yeah,
behave, right? Because uh, Rahul Dravid is known to be a gentleman, a very polite guy, is very camera shy. If you look at most of the other commercials that he's sort of been a part of, he's very bland on camera when
true.
delivering the brand message.
True.
This, I mean, one is the thought behind getting him to do something which is not in line with his behavior, versus
Personality.
the
Yeah.
the second more important point here is to actually get him to do it, right? Kudos to the director who actually happened to, like, I don't know, he's this is the first time I've seen him act in a commercial.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll play the ad and then we can talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Go
you
for
pay
it.
your credit card
Thanks.
bills on Cred, you earn Cred coins. Use them to claim cashback and rewards. I know this sounds ridiculous. It's like saying Rahul Dravid has anger issues.
Hey! That doesn't mean you can overtake! Come, man! Come! You come, man! What about me? Hey!
Could have gone straight and taken it.
इंदिरानगर का गुंडा हूँ मैं!
This line, Indira Nagar ka gunda hu main, is something that can stay for a while.
Yeah, yeah. And the slang Ordak Birtini, so it's amazing, you know. I think whoever has done this, an amazing job. Huge credits to them. And then picking celebrity, you asked the right question: does celebrity work or doesn't work? So the answer is the brand itself. You know, is you can still make a celebrity to be part of your brand and still tell a story. And
Right.
if you have a different genre, like an audience, you know, wherein you're just selling a mattress and the mattress is already 90% aware to the entire India. It's a mattress of India. So why do you need to really have a story? Rather tell the product story, rather tell the emotional story. It's all about that, right?
True.
So the answer is that, and it's a mixed bag for now. So it purely depends on what the brand stands for. What do they need to sell? As I said, we are not selling a product or a service today. We are selling a story. And if you sell a story, if you sell that content piece, you hooked onto the customer, right?
Yeah.
Until I recall, you know, wherein in all our houses, if you ask something, just buy this, no, forget it, don't even think about anything else, right? So that's how the credibility is built for the content. Yeah.
True. While we are on the topic of talking about things that aren't real, again, I want to talk about this brand which I think took like reality to a very different level. I mean, you cannot imagine like the story, right? The story in this ad, and I'm talking about the Happydent ads. How
Oh yeah.
you don't like you're selling a gum, a mint, right? You're not selling anything about that, but then to come up with an insight that it like it blows your mind, right? I think this is something that and again, the jingle that was there with it, it stays with us for years now. I mean, I still remember. And today, just a few weeks back, or maybe a couple of months back, is when they also released a different version of their ad. But again, the concept is same, that the it makes your teeth so reflective that it actually throws a light.
Right.
And from making like humor as the central protagonist of the ads last time around, to today giving a very strong social message, where you throw light at the bus top, where you've written ladies seat and
Exactly.
yeah, that such a contrasting this thing, but they're so consistent with what they use as messaging. So I have the previous ad that I would like to play. This is something that has stayed with me for a really, really long time, and I'm sure a lot of people would have heard this, but it's hilarious. I'd like to play that.
Once you play this video, I'll have a story to tell you on this brand. You know how why it is so connected to me on this, particularly the Perfity as a brand. I'll tell you a story on this.
Sure, so we'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
दिल
amazing. It's hilarious. It's such a humor,
Yeah.
giving that strong message. I think you're right. The context of the brand still remains same. The recent one talking about you know uh, respecting women, and then that bus ad, giving the space and all that. I think it's really nice. Just going back to what I mentioned, and especially on this brand, why I'm so connected. I think I started my career with selling confectionaries, and Perfetti was my competition brand. I was with Wrigley's those days, and every 3 months there is a tug of war between the two brands. There's one ad that they release, and then we come up with another brand, another ad. But I think one thing that I've always stuck to Perfetti, we've been closely watching them for more than 3 years in my career in the initial stage. I think every brand, the launch that they've done, they had a story to tell, right?
Right.
And they've done it so amazingly, so consistent. Whether you talk about Perfetti, Happy Dent, you talk about, I think you'll also recollect one of the great ads, and that's another hilarious that I like. Center Shock,
Yeah.
or even Center Fresh, the Jeep Laplapai. There's a concert happening on the music, and then there is a tabla person, there is a singing, there's going on, and then the Jeep Laplapai, the Alphenliebe, right? The Center
Yeah.
Fresh, Alphenliebe, everything is amazing. They're so consistent. I think Center Shock is another ad that I really, it's less than 30-40 seconds. The messaging is so bright. It's in the trend, right?
Right.
So that's one piece that connects very well. That whatever we do as a brand, there needs to be a continuity. There needs to be a consistency. Going back to the same thing about asking about an IDA principle. What do we need to do for the brand right now? What do we need to do for the consumer? Whether it's an awareness, interest, desire, and an action. Do we need to create that kind of pulse to the audience to buy something, to try something? And many brands have been doing that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think we've spoken quite a lot about different brands and the work that you've also done. I want to like use this next few minutes to talk about people who make this amazing uh, um, ads or videos in general. Uh, I like, are there other people that you've worked with in the past, or possibly people that you were competing with, like you just mentioned that you always admire and learn from each other's work, right? I mean, we are in this phase where you cannot just say that I've been doing amazing work and just leave it there, because somebody else comes up with something amazing and unique, and you have to give it to them for that insight, right? And uh, you have to keep your ego aside. You have to learn from each
Of course,
other
yes.
to so I'd like you to give a shout out to people that you really admire, and having worked with or being competitors, please tell us a few stories or names that you really admire.
Well, great. There's one thing that I would always recall. The initial stage of the podcast that I mentioned, that starting from a Flintstones of '99 selling a confectionery toilet to looking at what is digital era today, we have evolved. Everybody's evolved, right? Well, I can't just take one name or just want to name one agency or one person. There are a bunch of people I thank over a period of time, including the competition whom I've worked with, in the sense seeing them and believing what exactly they've been doing and learning from them, right? So one thing that stems out from this discussion, probably an anecdote that probably would help everyone, is uh, gone are those days. It's not about the big budgets or a grand glory of launch. It's all about you know uh, what platform we are choosing today. We're looking at light platform to look at the launch. Today, if you look at just the digital content itself, you guys know better. You have YouTube, you have Vimeo, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, IGTV, Instagram Stories, and Twitch. TikTok, of course, is gone case for India right now, but there are multiple things in both. Snapchat for that. Now, uh, let's take an example today. Why do we need to have shed our egos, learn from everybody? Look at some of our celebrities in Bollywood, Ritesh Deshmukh and Janelia, right? And these two, the best of actors who have done it great in social media, including Varun Dhawan probably. And the they're shedding the biggest celebrity status, and they've been working with the smallest of the smallest artists who are able to put those stories in the digital medium. So you've gone of those days of the big celebrity where you're paid crores of rupees for the ads on the TV, and you come to a TikTok medium and you work with a bunch of kids who are really making humor based videos. So that's the
Yeah.
story, right? I mean, that's the anecdote. Now, I had few mentors in my life in the past, 15, 20 years of my career, who have always told the story about it's not about this, it's all about what we do, what we give back to the customers. And 3M is a great example for that. You know, over a $32 billion company, and still humble, grounded in terms of the way they sell the stories. They way amazing products. Maybe 3 lakh patents, amazing product, amazing way to tell the stories. I think there's n number of stories that they kind of look forward and talk about the communication. So coming back to your simple question is, as I said, I can't name one person. There are multiple people. There are many great agencies who are newbies in the industry, uh, but yet they've been able to doing a great job. It's all about the kind of work that we do. It's the person is important. It's the story is important. It's not the big
Yeah.
tag. It's not the big tag of the agencies. I think you're doing a great job again, putting people together into this platform. I think marketeers like us, we're able to evolve, we're able to learn from each other, and this is what we need to do continuously, because learning never stops. And once we believe that once we believe that the learning stops and we've learned for everything for life, and we can't grow. That's what is the message. I think we need to look at our data points today. Uh, you know, 64% or 70% of people are buying products, looking at the content, looking at the realistic story. It's gone of those days of fancy website or fancy launches. It's all about grounded reality, what you give back to the customer. And that's
Yeah.
what we need to keep in mind. But there are great agencies who've been doing work, amazing job, because in my last 22 years of career, it's not just one or two agencies. I worked with multiple blue chip to the mediocre agencies to the fresh launch agencies who have been doing great work. Uh, Probably I prefer stay out of not naming them because everybody is great, everybody is thankful in terms of that way. But the message is very clear that we need to adapt to ourselves. We need to change, and person or the agency or the work stream doesn't change, doesn't evolve, then we're dead.
Sure. Thank you so much for calling that message out, because that's something that we go by uh, under the banner of Mad Videos. We are all here to share and learn from each other. And I'm glad that you could take out time from your schedule and join us to share from your experiences. And I hope you will keep contributing more to the community. I think there are a bunch of other initiatives that Mado Videos we would like you to be a part of, whether it's the podcast that you've just done or the magazine that we have, Mado Videos Buzz. And we've recently launched a new podcast called MOV Lead Hers, again with women leaders, and talking about their stories. Again, I'm glad that we are ending this episode on the uh, on the point of helping each other grow and learning from each other. And I think there's nothing better to look forward to. So I again thank you so much for taking time out and joining us on the episode, Girish. And I hope we get to work together very soon on some projects as well. So with um, yeah, it's I'm like I'd like to express gratitude on behalf of the entire Mado Videos team as well as Team Guch for taking time out and joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine, and very. I was very happy to be part of this podcast, and thanks to you guys for giving an opportunity to speak. I'm sure I believe in sharing knowledge, whatever we could, whatever little that we have learned in the past few years, and learn from each other. Happy to be part of your team, and then learn and share and learn more. Yeah. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, and yeah, we'll be back with the next episode very soon. Until then, goodbye and good night for everybody who's in India. So yeah, we'll
Good
see
night,
you very soon.
everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Madhava, video team, and thank you, Pranav, especially for you. I mean, taking time out. I think seconding the thoughts that I had. Amazing chat, lovely discussion. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Thank you so much. Thanks.